I will be 100% honest. I saw the headline posted, and I posted it to my story, as I know a lot of y'all saw. And this was the night before a lot of people had caught on to the story for real yet. So when I posted it, it had only had, the thing I looked at, it only had like, what Kai do, what did he do that's more important? Nothing. It's just, there's more things that just happened in the world. So that's why I brought up Kai. When I saw it, and I saw it only had 6K likes on the post, I was looking at, to be honest with you, 100% honest, was like, wow, like, I'm gonna repost it, but clearly this is not a story that the media has picked up nor gives a fuck about. So, like, I kind of let the grief sit with me and almost disassociated from what it was, right? I didn't read the caption. I didn't read into the story. I literally just was like, right? We ended up getting on the jam and talking about it. And we talked about it because JJ brought up another cop that had shot a golden doodle over the weekend when New York Knicks and they were celebrating. He shot a fucking dog. He shot a person's dog, right? Because the cops were responding to a noise complaint. When JJ brought that story up is when I thought about Kohen Wiley, right? I had no idea at that point that it was over diapers. When I found out it was over diapers, I did what I think every black person does, just some of us don't have the energy like I do to do it externally. I did what everybody does internally, externally, and that was lose my absolute fucking shit. Lost my shit. I cannot believe. Matter of fact, scratch that, I can believe. We live in a country that in the last 3 to 4 weeks of the last month, we've had black trans people die. We've had a 14-year-old get shot in his back, and the person who shot him got off. We've had Carmelo Anthony get thrown into jail for 35 years over an altercation he didn't start in the most cynical and horrible way possible. The icing on the cake. This was like shit on top of the cake. This was shit on top of the cake. You shot a woman, or you shot at a car with a baby in it and killed the 1-year-old child because the mother stole diapers. Then it got worse because then we see the mom didn't steal the diapers. Then we see they had a receipt. Meaning the cashier that called the cops on this woman got her 1-year-old son killed. Or the person that called the cops, I don't know who called the cops. Whoever called the cops got this 1-year-old killed. And that is the level of seriousness that black people have to live with. That is the reality that black people have to live with every single day in this fuck-ass country, dog. I couldn't believe it, bro. I could not believe it, dog. These people are evil. That is the only thing I could say. The only thing I could say is you people are evil, bro. We are doing all of this. Bro, like, oh my God. We know white people are evil, bro. Some white people are evil. We know all white people are complicit. We know some white people are evil, and we know all white people are complicit. Right? There should be one thing that comes out of something like this. Not only racing to the streets, not only boycotting the fuck out of Walmart, which I saw they was doing. Shout out to the black people doing that. Continuing the boycotts on Target. Continuing to talk about these things. Continuing to educate our people. There is something that I need to see every politician in this country start saying, and that's defund the cops. Defund them. They are not doing their job. What is their job? Their job is to serve and protect. They're shooting fucking 1-year-olds. What the fuck are we talking about? Whether you believe that all cops are bad, whether you believe all cops are good, it doesn't matter. The objective take has to be, there needs to be a way that 1-year-old children do not die to the hands of the people that are supposed to serve and protect. What the fuck? Y'all was sitting here saying, melt the ice and abolish ICE. Nigga, abolish the cops. Abolish these niggas. Rip down the systems and guess what? Rework them. You know why we need to rework policing? Because policing was built on what? Policing was built on slave catchers and patrolling black people. That's what it was built on. And here we are 250 years later on the anniversary of the United States. And you have police sitting here profiling black women and then shooting their children, their 1-year-old babies. For something that was an accident. Something that should not have happened. She paid for the diapers and walked out the store. That should not have happened. People equate cops and policing with crime. We need cops and we need police to stop crime. So even if that is the case, let's say, yeah, I agree with you. Sure. Even though data is not on your side. But let's say I agree with you, dog. When we start talking about holding cops accountable for the things that they do, why is there always a group of people that say they shouldn't be held accountable for these things? Because surely if it's about the cops handling criminals, when a cop fucks up, if anything, there should be more onus on the cop. You know the law. You know the law. Meaning you'll get the full extent of the law. Actually, it's flipped though. They have immunity. They can violate the law even though they're supposed to be the people that keep the law and keep the law and order. These things won't ever change, dog. They won't ever change if we sit on our ass and wait for white people to allow them to get reprimanded. If we sit there and allow, these things will never change. Because this is the reality we live in and it's getting worse. It's literally getting worse. Not to say black people weren't getting strung up from trees. But like in the sense of being desensitized to these things happening. These are 3 things that should have sent everybody into the streets immediately within the days they were out. These are 3 things that happened in the same month. 4 things that happened in the same month. I'm gonna read, chat. Resend everything. Let's read. We're still being lynched. That's the thing, literally. As early as this year. Lynched. Yes, but they're also billionaires, so what if people steal diapers? Not only this, but there's also systems in place to catch repeat offenders. As far as I remember with places like Target and stuff, will build a case on people that steal multiple times. Yes, that is very true. They hardly even stop crime. No, they don't. That's why I said statistics are not on your side. I'm just saying for the dumbass niggas that equate policing with crime. They hardly even stop crime. They can't do much in reality. They aren't detectives. They aren't they aren't life-saving first responders. They don't do much beyond traffic control. Yeah, 90% of their stops are traffic stops. Most else is capitalistic service, not the public. Yeah, no, that's what it is. Protecting private property. Cops are protecting capitalism, which is their job. They're not protecting capitalism. I mean, well, yeah, they are, I guess, in a sense, but it's more so just private property. They're protecting private property, private interests, which does, yes, fall into capitalism. Capitalism is what's funding the police, ICE, and other organizations made to serve and protect. That's what Bubble's getting at. That is true. But also, you have to remember that, like, capitalism in itself is a economic model. You feel what I'm saying? Capitalism in itself is an economic model. More than it like it does. All of these things come from it, yes, but that's why I say put an emphasis on private property and stuff, because it's not, capitalism is not inherently the issue. It's how our society runs runs the society within capitalism. Or you could flip it, how capitalism is ran within the society. This is why I never trust white leftists. Even Hassan, they believe it's only a class issue. I wouldn't say I could say white leftists do. A lot of white leftists do. From the conversations that I've had with Hassan, I don't believe he thinks it's just a class issue. I definitely think he understands he understands to the level of a white man. So take that with a grain of salt. But he understands much more than your average white leftist. Like, people genuinely don't give Hassan enough credit, and I know it's because like XYZ, and we literally talked about it on the pod this week, where like the out of context clips of him being like, I don't care what black people think, when like of course people are making these clips about him. It's just the reality of it is like there are white leftists that don't understand that it's not only a class issue, right? I don't put my faith into white leftists anyways. I don't put my faith into any of that shit anyways. I think my faith is in what I'm providing to the space. You know what I mean? Like, that's literally, like, I think people always ask us all the time, like, what we think about Hassan, and it's like, dog, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, not literally, like, shout out my boy, you know, that's Hassan, but like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, I'm worried about what the fuck I'm doing. You feel what I'm saying? I'm worried about the fuck I'm doing.